Alrighty, what's up, Ringside Nation? The Ring Boys are back here with my beautiful co-host Doc. Doc, how we feeling?
I'm a little bit under the weather, but the show must go on. We got a big fight here at the Sphere. We've all been excited for it, so we can't let you down. So I'm showing up.
Riyadh season, Noche, UFC 306 pre-show. Artie will not be here, but we have his picks. Yearly totals on your screen. Nothing changed if you watched the last episode. I'll leave this one on as we talk about the first few fights here. And fantasy update. Doc, do you want to just rifle off the numbers for us real quick?
Yeah, Artie has 32. Alex has 19 coming in third, and I have 28. But like I was telling Alex, I got a big card coming up. Hopefully nobody pulls out, and that's when I'm going to overtake Artie, and my strategy is going to work itself out.
Can't wait till
Consistency is key.
Can't wait till Deleted say misses weight and that they cancel that fight. You get no points for that. That'd be crazy. What is going to be crazy is the main event, bantamweight title fight between Sean Sugar O'Malley versus, as I like to call him, Mexican Merab Dvalishvili. Merab coming off a win, solidifying that he was in the title mix. Sean O'Malley coming off a title defense. And a lot of people throwing a lot of hate for Sean O'Malley on this one. Him wanting to be as big of a star as Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor not fighting this year, so I guess we have Sean O'Malley to lead us at the forefront of the UFC now. And stylistically, Doc, I don't think this is a good matchup for Sean O'Malley. I think his ground game might be tested here, but I was joking with you behind the scenes. I was switching my pick back and forth, but I'm rocking with Sean O'Malley solely for the fact that he's proved me wrong once. I understand Merab's a different fighter stylistically, doesn't have the hands and the striking as anyone normally does in the UFC, but man, that guy has a chin and he has the best stamina in the UFC. But he doesn't have defense for the entirety of 5 rounds, in my opinion. Sean O'Malley is going to keep the range. Sean O'Malley is going to utilize that beautiful striking like he did with Aljo. And, you got to take him down first. And I'm sure he's been working on his jiu-jitsu with Tim Welch. It's probably all they've been doing for the past few months. He has the stamina. He has the cardio. He has the knockout power. And I think he's going to have the title. Doc?
Yeah, so a few points I want to bring up. In terms of Sean O'Malley being the face of the UFC, a star in the UFC, I mean, he's got the flashy hair, he's got the flashy social media, and he backs it up with wins, flashy wins. So he absolutely can be the next star in the UFC, and I think that this win, if he gets this win, I mean, that definitely solidifies him as the biggest sell in the UFC. In terms of this matchup being bad, I agree, but I also thought that the Aljo versus Sean O'Malley matchup was bad. I'm sure Aljo has been talking to his friend Merab about how to make Sean O'Malley miss and all that, but like we were talking behind the scenes, Sean O'Malley has at least 5 chances at the start of each round to land a knockout shot, and if he lands one, Merab can go down regardless of what his chin looks like. And Sean O'Malley has pretty decent wrestling D. So Merab never stops and he never gasses out. But I think Sean O'Malley has been working and getting so much better over the last few years that at least one of his punches will land, and that's going to get Merab out of there. So although Merab's on my fantasy team and I would love another win here, I don't think Merab's submission game is strong enough, and he doesn't do enough on the ground to take Sean O'Malley out. And Sean O'Malley will find his shot, just like he's called in the past, and he always delivers for us.
Out of his last, like 8, 9 fights?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what was playing on the side there for me. Out of his 9 last fights, or probably even more than that, I think Merab had 1 knockout, and he's just getting unanimous decision wins. And control time and grappling will not get you enough to win a title, in my opinion. I think he'll obviously score some takedowns, he'll have control time, but that's not enough to sway the judges and have them hand over the belt, in my opinion. And I think that's been Merab's style. That's been what he's been utilizing. It's been working well for him. But I agree, Doc. I don't think he's going to be able to finish his dinner tonight.
And we all know Merab is not knocking out Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley has been in there with the best strikers in the bantamweight division. So again, I think the lines don't really make sense. I think that Merab was favored when the lines came out. I'm not exactly sure what changed here, but Sean O'Malley at -130 does not make sense to me to bet, but I do think that he will win.
We were talking behind the scenes also about your fantasy football team, how you had Aaron Rodgers, you had Jordan Love, and all these people are getting injured. And now that you said Merab can't knock out Sean O'Malley, if I so help me God, Doc, if I come in tomorrow and Sean O'Malley got knocked out by Merab. But nonetheless, it's going to be a great title fight. I'm excited for it. I've always loved to see Sean O'Malley on the card. Love to see Merab, and the fact that they're finally going at each other and they can end this beef. Maybe if Merab loses, he can fight Tim Welch next. We can sanction that in a garage, underground, something. I'd watch that. But nonetheless, Artie's rocking with Merab. Artie's also taking Raul Rojas for his lock of the card. So his picks are on the screen if you can watch. If not, I'll announce them as we go for the main card and the prelims. Co-main event, women's flyweight title, Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. And Alexa Grasso, man, can anyone dethrone her, Doc?
I mean, if someone can dethrone her, it's Valentina Shevchenko. You know, years ago, like 3-4 years ago, I thought there was no one that could ever beat Valentina Shevchenko. She was going to continue on being champ without any additional losses on her resume, unless if she wanted to go up in weight, fight Nunez, stuff like that. But Alexa Grasso, 2 consecutive performances. That first one with the submission, she was losing that fight, came out of nowhere, did it, and then this last fight that she had with the win. You know, Valentina Shevchenko is so polished and so good at striking, but Alexa Grasso is I believe she's younger. She's been working on a lot of things, and she's just so crisp, so technical, and she doesn't put herself in bad positions like all the other fighters that Valentina Shevchenko has fought. So that's why I'm going with Alexa Grasso. My heart is with Shevchenko. I want her to win, but I think Alexa Grasso has just done so much. Plus, this is a big event. This is UFC Noche. Alexa Grasso's fired up here, and this isn't her first time in a title fight in a main event, so I don't think the pressure is going to get to her. And as we saw in the Ultimate Fighter, you know, she coached her fighters well. They did better than Shevchenko's fighters, and she's just overall a fantastic competitor. So that's why I think Grasso's going to win here.
I agree with you fully. Almost a year ago to the date, they fought El Noche, September 16th, and they're going to fight again September 15th, which I think is crazy. I don't know why Shevchenko took this on another El Noche. Like, I know we're fighting in the Sphere. It's going to be a crazy venue regardless, but it's also going to be Grasso having the backing of the crowd. And I think that's going to play into the judges' scorecards too, just a bit, especially the scoring we've seen this year. My God, I could go an hour on that. But I think stylistically, I'm not going to use the evidence of the over 35 curse with Volk as I did in the past, but 5-year difference. Grasso is younger, but she also seems hungrier to me. Like, if you were watching the Ultimate Fighter, like her coaching style and everything, like, this isn't just a game to her. Like, this is her life. This is what she grew up on. And Shevchenko, yeah, as you know, as cold-blooded she is, it just seems like she's kind of like, oh yeah, I deserve to be getting the title shot after the draw, and I'm going to get it done this time. But I don't know. I feel like behind the scenes, Alexa Grasso's been putting in overtime, and I think it's going to show on the big stage tonight.
Yeah, my bad. It was a draw. You're right. Not a win.
You're good.
That second fight, but I don't know. I think it's hard to say that Valentina Shevchenko isn't hungry. This is her life, and she said that this is her life. I guess actions speak louder than words, but no one else is beating Valentina Shevchenko in this division. So, of course, she deserves this title.
Couldn't agree with you more. But I think when you compare the two, I think Grasso has an emptier stomach. The other thing that I think is going to be crazy for that fight, Doc, is Diego Lopez is going to have to fight Brian Ortega right before, and then he's going to have to run out back into the back and then go corner for Grasso, which is nuts to me. Diego Lopez, obviously coming off that beautiful win, fighting against Brian T. City Ortega, who seems to have kind of rejuvenated his career a bit this year. You know, we had the fight against Yair where he seemed to have had an injury and somehow submitted Yair and has came back. So I think T City's ready to get back in the mix. But this is a Diego Lopez fan club, and we're all taking Diego Lopez, ringer for the ring boys. Doc, if you could hit that bell, please. Thank you very much. Two very crazy stories of Dan Ige coming in like 3-hour notice to fight Diego Lopez, almost getting it done. Brian T City coming back, his ex ringside. Seemed that he like almost tore his ACL just walking sideways. So I don't know. I feel like these guys are going to go right at it. I wish this was 5 rounds. I would have loved to see this at its fullest extent. But man, I think Diego Lopez is just on this absolute tear, and he's just a train. And I don't think Brian is going to be enough to stop him. Doc?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing going against Diego Lopez here is that I picked him as my lock of the card, and we know how that goes. So hopefully, although he's part of the Diego Lopez fan club, he doesn't watch this podcast just yet. Diego Lopez has done tremendous things in the UFC. He's an exciting fighter, very well-rounded. Brian Ortega, I don't know. At one point, I thought that he was rejuvenating his career with that fight against Yair, but based on what happened with the Dan Ige Lopez fight, he wasn't even close to weight. He was looking kind of chunky for this fight as well. We'll see if his heart is really in there. I mean, I think that he had a lot of motivation to show up for UFC Noche. But Diego Lopez, young, hungry, well-rounded, and I think that he'll be able to defend against the submission attempts that Brian Ortega throws at him. This isn't going to be Ortega's not going to win on the feet here. Diego Lopez is too crisp. And I wonder if Diego Lopez is going to try to submit Brian Ortega. That would probably be the most wild thing if that's what we see here. That's also going to put Diego Lopez in danger, and that'll be the chance that Ortega has to win here. But it's going to be an exciting fight. Can't wait for it. And I agree, 5 rounds would be perfect for this fight, but that's okay.
Man, if he taps Ortega, that's going to be on TikTok. That's going to be on YouTube Shorts. You calling it? That would be nuts. Another good fight we got. Daniel Zellhuber, Esteban Ribovics. Zellhuber coming off a win against Prado. Ribovics coming off that brutal knockout against Terrence McKinney. I think personally Esteban is going to show in and show out. He's confident. He's ready to go. He's trying to make this a 3-fight win streak. I think Daniel Zellhuber is a really good fighter. You can talk about the range, the size, the reach advantage, whatever. But I haven't seen the power as much as I have seen it in Esteban. And I think that's going to show tonight. I also, not that this is a good reason in any way, shape, or form, will bring up the fact that every single pay-per-view, one underdog always happens. And this is my own underdog. And I was just thinking, and I was like, I only have faith in this one underdog as much as I have in the other ones. So, Esteban, I hope you prove me right. That knockout was crazy. I was not familiar with your game. I hope I'm familiar with it this time. Doc?
Yeah, I remember during that fight, the Ribovics, Terrence McKinney, you said that, yeah, you're going to be a Ribovics fan going forward. And I mean, who can't be? That was a fantastic knockout. He has such tremendous power. It took him less than a minute, I believe. But the thing is that Zellhuber also has this ground game that I think can tame Ribovics. So Ribovics has the one-shot knockout power, but if he can't get that, I think Zellhuber, a little bit better cardio, longer, and is able to take down Ribovics. So I think that's going to be his game plan. Plus, he's Mexican. So he meaning Zellhuber. So again, unless if this is like a UFC Canada card, he'll have the fans behind him. He'll have the extra motivation. And he looked pretty deadly in the day or the night before the weigh-ins, coming in, and I don't know. This is going to be a banger of a fight. This might end up being fight of the night with how many great fights we have. These are 2 young, great up and coming prospects that are hungry and are given the biggest chance of their lifetime right here. So they're gonna try to show out, and I think that this could be a banger. I know this is going to be a banger.
Agreed. And I think this one definitely has what it takes to be fight of the night. Already taking Zellhuber. Oh my God, Daniel Zellhuber as well. So no ringer for the Ring Boys here, but we do have a ringer for Ronaldo Rodriguez. fighting Jamaican O'Day Osborne. These guys were going at it at the presser. They're ready to get it going. But Ronaldo Rodriguez, the 25-year-old lower volume flyweight throwing fighter, I don't think he really throws too many strikes as much as other guys in the division, which I argue is a good thing. He's very calculated. He's very well measured. He's young. But, man, don't let his nickname of Lazy Boy trick you. He does not get lazy. He's ready to get those hands going right away. And I think O'Day Osborne, with the trash talk, is already showing the only ace he has up his sleeve, trying to get in his head, coming off a 2-fight losing streak, and he's desperate. He's desperate for a win, or otherwise his UFC contract might be going in the paper shredder. Doc?
I always love when the trash talk is between two fighters that don't speak the same language. So Ronaldo Rodriguez is throwing some Spanish at O'Day Osborne, who's English, so like they don't even understand what's being said to each other, so they can say whatever they want, and that's what we got to see, and I love to see it. For me, this is more of a pick of anti-Osborne than it is pro-Rodriguez. Haven't seen too much of Rodriguez. O'Day Osborne theoretically could be considered a veteran in the UFC, but he was a little bit of a hype train coming up. You know, we really wanted to have a good Jamaican fighter, and he hasn't lived up to the hype, in my opinion. Ronaldo Rodriguez, I think his punching power is going to be enough to get like over the hump and beat Osborne here. So that's what I'm expecting to see. You know, sometimes the other thing with the trash talk is the more they talk off stage, the less they do inside the ring. I'm worried that this one might be a bit of a snooze fest. Osborne doesn't really make for exciting fights, and we'll see if Ronaldo Rodriguez can kind of switch that around and land something big here. It's an okay fight to start the card. Realistically, I think that there are some fights on the undercard that could have been promoted to the main event over this. Hopefully I'm wrong, though.
Yeah, and the Jamaican sensation. Man, you need to rework that nickname. I swear to God, that is horrid. But that's your main card overall. Normally we would go through each fight, but we're going to do this kind of differently, where I'm going to ring off the rest of the prelims, and then Doc and I will choose a couple fights that we want to discuss just over the sake of time. Irene Aldana fighting Norma Dumont, Manuel Torres fighting Ignacio Bahamundes, Yasmin Haragi, I learned that one last time, fighting Caitlin Souza, Edgar Chavez fighting our boy Josh Van, and then I'm not saying his name is fighting, I can't say his name, so Raul Rosas fighting Arol Kling. I can never say that dude's name, but it doesn't matter. I don't think he's going to win. So, Doc, I'll hand it over to you, but I will call you out on going against both of your fantasy fighters on this card, and I'm very upset with you. Defend yourself, please.
Yeah, so, I mean, my fantasy fighter here is Norma Dumont, but you got to just trust in Irene Aldana here. It's the lines are very accurate here. It is like a complete pick'em, in my opinion. Two pretty different fighting styles. Irene Aldana, more of a striker here. Norma Dumont, I think she can mix in a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, I don't know which way it's going to go, but to me, it felt right that Irene Aldana was going to win this. The fight that I want to talk about is, I don't think that you guys were expecting me to pick Manuel Torres here over Ignacio Bahamundes. Ignacio Bahamundes, I've been talking about him a while on this podcast. Super long fighter, tremendous kickboxer. Has had some fantastic knockouts in the UFC. But Manuel Torres, his nickname is El Loco, and that's exactly what he is. He is crazy in the ring. You never know what to expect. It's nonstop pressure, and if he lands something on you, he doesn't stop. And that's what he's done in the UFC so far. One of the most exciting fighters, in my opinion. I think that this fight is the one that should have been on the main card instead of Ronaldo Rodriguez and O'Day Osborne, because this one is also going to be a banger. Two fighters that want to stand in the middle of the ring and throw heat. So Manuel Torres, he started off as the underdog. The odds makers have rightfully made him the favorite, because I think that he's going to come through and land something big on Ignacio Bahamundes, whose chin has been tested, but it hasn't been tested by this Mexican power that Manuel Torres has.
I'm glad you brought up nicknames, because that's going to be my counter to you. You know what Ignacio Bahamundes' nickname is? La Jaula. You know what that means? The cage. And that's where he's got to meet him in the middle, brother. 6'3" Ignacio Bahamundes, give you that every day of the week, man. I mean, I think Manuel Torres is going to go crazy. He's going to pop it off. He's going to get ready to go. But man, Ignacio's made. He's battle hardened. That's the only counter I need. I see you smiling. You knew I was prepared. You were ready for that one, huh?
That was good. That was good.
Thank you. The other pronunciation I've been working on for like the whole year is Yasmin Kharagi, but damn, that one was tough. Irene Aldana, I think, is going to show levels, so we'll just shout out her, Harigi, and I guess Raul Rojas because we have to. Those are the ringers from the Ring Boys on the prelims, so let's hit the bell.
It pains me to hit the bell for Raul Rosas.
I know. It's Mr. Chiwiwi himself. I will say the last thing I want to bring up, I thought this was going to be a Diego Lopez and Josh Finn fan club. After Edgar Charas digging deep and getting that win, respect, hats off on him. I mean, it's Josh Van. It's Josh Van, Doc. Like, why are we going against what we know here?
It is Josh Van, and Josh Van has put on tremendous performances, but I think that he took a step back. It was either a fight ago or 2 fights ago. The fight against Charles Johnson, where we were all confident that he was going to be able to pull through, that his cardio was going to hold up. And although Edgar Chairez is the older fighter here by a lot, Josh Van is super young. I think that fight broke Josh Van just a little bit. And Chairez is the type of guy that the performance that he had last time, just so much power, and he's relentless. He's going to keep on going after Joshua Van, and I think that it might overwhelm Joshua Van. Still a fan of Joshua Van. He's just so young. He has many years to continue perfecting his craft. And Edgar Chairez, again, maybe this will be like UFC Canada where the Mexican fighters don't show up. But I think there's too much at stake for Edgar Chairez. He's a nasty vet in my opinion, and it should be another banger. But it's going to be too much power coming from Chairez. It's not going to be speed. It's going to be power, and that's what I expect to see.
I'm going to play 2 cards here, and it's going to be hopefully the Doc curse and the fact that Josh Finn is young, and we don't really know what his chin is yet. And this is the first time he's lost on that bad of a slant. Yeah, it sucks to see, but Charles Johnson is known for being the underdog and, coming back and winning. So I don't think Charles Johnson is worse of a fighter than Edgar Chairez. Or, excuse me, I don't think Edgar Chairez is better than Charles Johnson. And I think Josh Finn's going to dig deep and show out and get back in the mix. And the other thing is we're not in Mexico. I know we're in the Sphere. We're going to simulate a Mexican environment, and it's going to be, an ode to the Mexican people. But, man, I just disagree, Doc. I think Josh Van is going to be able to get it done. He's going to have his hand raised at the end of the night. I know you think deep down you want the same.
We'll see.
I know you're lying. You are lying to me if you don't want to see Josh Van's hand raised.
This is my one underdog pick.
Oh,
I have
my
to do
God.
something.
Oh, my God. You could have done Dumont's, like who your fantasy fighter is. Wait, I just realized that actually is the only underdog you went with. Oh my God.
I will say some of these were flipped originally. So
yeah, fair enough. I'll read off Artie's picks. Irene Aldana, Manuel Torres, Yasmin Harigi, Josh Van, and Raul Rosas Jr. As I mentioned, he's going to be his lock of the card. My lock is Josh Van, and Doc's lock is Diego Lopez. Hey, man, we're fighting the Sphere. UFC 306. I think this is going to be a banger. UFC 307 coming up with Alex Pereira fighting Khalil Roundtree. And then we got 308, man, Topuria Holloway. And my boy, he's coming. He's coming. He's coming to shake the world. That's going to be all from us. I don't have anything left, Doc, unless you want to say anything before we sign off here.
My voice is hitting its last 5%, so no, I'm good. I'm excited for this card. It's gonna be a fun time.
Couldn't agree with you more, buddy. All right, UFC 306, the Ring Boys, by the common man, for the common person. We are out of here. Peace.